Hello everyone. So today we are learning a new topic or we are going to discuss a new topic that is learning. We always say let's learn this or we are going to learn this. So what actually learning is? So we are going to study or we are going to discuss learning today. So let's see what all things we are going to cover with this PowerPoint presentation. So today we are going to study about introduction of learning with definition and nature of learning. Along with that, we are going to study about process of learning, types of learning, and lastly, the factor affecting learning. So let's begin our presentation with introduction to learning. So what learning is? Learning is said to be equivalent to change or a modification, development, improvement, and adjustment. We can say learning can be anything like modifying our behavior or developing our skills or improvement into our knowledge, or we can say adjustment into a particular situation. All the things are included into learning only. It's a comprehensive term which leaves permanent impression on individual. Obviously the things we learn are going to be there with us throughout our life, so it's a permanent impression on an individual. Learning is also a process of acquiring modification in existing knowledge, skill, habit, or tendencies through experience, practice, or exercises. Let's say I want to learn how to ride a bike, so I'm going to practice how to ride a bike. I'm going to give my time to learn how to ride a bike, so that is kind of a honing my skill. So here, by using my experience of how to learn a bike and by daily practicing it, I'm going to learn new thing, that is how to ride a bike. So this was all about the introduction to learning. Let's move towards the definition of learning. So there are two definitions over here onto your screen. First one definition is given by Gates and other. They say that learning is the modification of behavior through experience. That means we learn things through our experience, and throughout our life we get different experience from different type of stimuli, and through these experiences or these stimulus we learn or modify our behavior. Next definition is given by Henry P. Smith. He says that learning is the acquisition of new behavior or strengthening or weakening of old behavior as a result of experience. So as we have taken an example of riding a bike, so that is kind of a, I don't know how to ride a bike. So that is, I'm learning something new. So this is acquisition of new behavior. Or let's say I know how to ride a bike, but I'm not a perfectionist into riding a bike. I don't know how to properly ride a bike. So when I'll practice how to ride a bike, I'm going to strengthen my that old behavior where I don't know how to properly ride a bike. So that is also kind of a learning through experience where I'm strengthening my any of the weak we say skill. So that is the essence of this definition. They say that experience pays, or experience is a main key factor in learning. So through our experience, we learn various things. So this was all about the definition of learning. Next is the nature of learning. Nature of learning means what actually learning is, what is behind learning. So let's see. Learning is adaptation or adjustment. Obviously, learning help in adjustment or as well as adaptation. Let's say you have completed your high school, now you're moving towards your career or your particular goal, and you took admission in particular course. So you are going to move out from your home, and now you're going to be into your hostel. So adapting the hostel environment and doing things on your own, that is the adjustment to new situation or new environment. That also occur through learning only. You will learn how to wash your clothes, you will learn how to manage your time, you will learn to do your things independently. So learning is adaptation and adjustment. Next is learning is improvement. Obviously, when you learn something, you improve your skill or you hone your skill. That means I don't know how to ride a bike, but now I'm learning how to ride a bike. That is the improvement into my skills. Next is learning is organizing experience. We learn particular different things throughout the day or throughout our life. So it can cause chaos or it can cause a mess into our brain. But like I'm learning psychology now, and then I'm going to learn about obstetric and gynecology. But my mind and my brain knows that this particular information is related to this particular aspect. So learning help in organizing our experience. Next is learning brings behavioral changes. Obviously, let's take an example over here that we have already studied, that moving into your hostel. So now you have moved into your hostel and you're doing your things on your own. Whereas in your home, you was completely dependent on your mother for the dishes or for the laundry. But now you're doing all these things on your own. So that is going to cause some changes into your behavior also. So learning brings behavioral changes also. Next, learning is an active process. Obviously, if I want to learn something, I have to be there as an active member of this learning. Say, if I'm not there, I'm not paying attention, I'm not going to learn anything or any particular certain thing. So that means learning is an active process where my presence is mandatory. Next is learning is goal directed. If you don't have any path or you don't have any particular direction or a goal in which to you move, in which you want to move, obviously you're going to lose your that aim. So learning is always goal directed. Let's say I want to become doctor, I want to become nurse, I want to become an engineer. So I would be having certain path which I have to follow to achieve that my goal. If I want having any of these goal, like I'm not having any goal of like becoming an engineering, I just want to earn money. So I would be having a different pathways. So I may lose my focus onto this particular thing. So that is learning is always goal oriented or is always goal directed. Next, learning is universal and learning is continuous. Obviously everyone in their life learn things, not only human being but animal, birds, they also learn. So learning is universal and it's a continuous process. Learning doesn't stop anywhere. Throughout your life, from infancy to the old age, we learn different things, either knowingly or unknowingly, or by formal methods or by informal methods. We have this tendency of learning things from our surrounding. So this was all about the nature of learning. Next is the process of learning, how this learning occurs. And let's take an example that how things occur, how we learn certain things. So let's learn about the process of learning. So for learning things, first is the motivation of the learner or the motives of the learner. What my motives are, what actually I want to do in my life, or why, what actually I want to learn. So that is the motive learner. That means, or you can say the readiness of the learner, that I'm ready to learn certain things. Then I'll establish my goal, which is the second part. That is establishing your goal. So here I'm going to establish my goal, that I'm going to learn this particular thing. Or let's take an example. I want to learn how to draw cartoon character. Or just I want to learn drawing or painting. So my motive is that I want to learn this particular drawing, or to learn how to use paint. And then establishing a goal. Goal means that how much I want to achieve. Like I want to be very much good in doodling, or let's say I want to uh, practice illusion arts. That is my goal. Now I have set my goal. Now after setting a goal, teacher and student adjustment is there. Teacher, obviously, through which or through whom I'm going to learn. So teacher is going to make certain adjustment into his schedule, and as well as student is going to make certain adjustment into his schedule or her schedule. And both of them are going to set an equilibrium. Like I'm going to set this particular time, like I'm going to give my 2 hours per day or 4 hours per day for learning painting. So I'm making some changes into my schedule, as well as teacher will also make some schedule changes to have an equilibrium or adjustment with the student. So after doing this equilibrium, or gaining this equilibrium, we are going to practice that particular skill. So the changes in students behavior will occur. Now I will start using brush. I'll know different kind of pencils that are needed for shading or drawing things. So these things or the behavioral changes will occur. Now I'm acquiring some knowledge through my teacher, that how one should paint, or how I should use this particular all these things or needed for painting. So that is the change into my behavior. Now I have learned this skill, that how I can paint or how I can doodle things. So when after learning these things, last step is fixation or stabilization of behavior. Now I know that I have learned painting, but if I want practice it, or I want exercise it, I'm going to lose this my particular learning or my experience with time. So that fixation or stabilization means now practicing this skill and making these skills stabilize or fixed. That means I'm going to practice or repeat these things in my daily life, and then I'm going to hone this my skill into more, and I'm going to learn more about it. That is the fixation. So that is the whole process of learning. You can take different examples over here, like learning particular subject, riding bike, or learning how to drive a car. These all different examples can be taken into this process of learning. Next is the types of learning. So types of learning can be now categorized into different types. So let's start with it. First is the formal learning, and next is the informal learning. Formal learning is when you would be having some kind of a like particular goal or certain, like I want to become engineer, I want to become nurse, I want to become architecture. So according to that, you would be having certain goal, so you would be having certain pathway or course material which you have to study to achieve that certain goal. Whereas into informal learning, it doesn't require any particular any course material. Informal learning is like you're learning something from your surrounding, or your any of the person into your surrounding. Like take an example over here. My sister loves reading books, so I'm acquiring that knowledge by sitting along with her. I'm not seeing that she's reading something, so I would pick one book and will start reading, and will ask her what all different authors are there, which book she would recommend to me. So in that way, I have now started to read books. So that is kind of an informal learning that I'm acquiring from my sister. I do not need any course material for that. Like formal learning can be example can be of school or some training institution, colleges. So all those are formal learning. Informal learning is kind of a learning from your friends, your mother, your father, anyone. So this is all about formal and informal learning. Let's move towards the next type of a learning. Next is individual learning and group learning. It is already clear from the name only. Individual learning is like learning something on your own or on an individual level, whereas group learning is learning something into a group. Like two or four people are there into group, and you are focusing on or solving some problem. That is a group learning. So this was all about the individual and group learning. There are more different types of learning. Let's see what all these are. The first one is a motor learning. Motor learning means where you will learn how to use your muscle and how to use your this motor organ, like your limbs, your hands. Like a baby learn how to grasp thing, how to ride a bike, how to walk, how to crawl. All these things come under motor learning. Verbal learning is second type of a learning, where verbal learning is like to speak, where we learn how to speak. Like a small baby, when he starts to learn or start imitating his elders, like they say, like we command baby to say like mama, papa, dada. So the baby will start imitating you. So that's kind of a verbal learning. Verbal learning is also a kind of a, when we learn some language also, when we speak something, that's a verbal learning. Discrimination learning is to differentiate between two things. When we learn to differentiate between a particular stimuli or situation or a person, that's a discriminating learning. Like a baby start to discriminate between his mother and his father. A baby will start to differentiate between that, like this is my mother, or this is my aunt, or this is a milk, or this is water. That's kind of a discriminating learning, to learn to differentiate. Next is the concept learning. Concept learning is kind of a higher level of learning, where we learn about the different concepts of particular thing or particular stimuli, or problem solving learning. That is also part of a concept learning, where we study the particular concept, like okay, this thing is happening because this particular processes occur. Like we learn about how rain occurs, how clouds are formed. So that we have studied into our early days of school, like humid air, or like the air pressure changes into the air pressure, and how all these things. So that is a concept learning, where we learn the concept behind particular thing. Sensory learning is like learning through by using your eyes or by using your ear, means your auditory skills or your visual skills. So by learning by using your sense organs, that is sensory learning. Next is the attitude learning. Attitude learning is where you form your attitude. Like we have a negative attitude towards particular things and a positive attitude towards particular things. So shaping your attitude in accordance to that, like let's say I don't like beans, I don't like to eat beans, or I don't like green vegetables. That's I'm having a negative attitude towards these things, I don't like to eat them. So that is kind of a shaping my attitude to, in my life. So if I'm having some certain likes towards particular things or certain dislikes towards particular things, so that is kind of a attitude learning. So this was all about the types of learning, where we studied about informal, formal, individual, as well as group learning, and all this motor, verbal, discriminating, etc. type of learnings. So let's move towards our next topic now. So next comes the factor affecting learning. So now which all factor or things can affect my learning? So like they can cause some disruptions or distractions into my learning. So factor affecting learning can be categorized into different forms. So let's see what all these are. So first one is nature of the learner. So how nature of learner can be affected? Let's say age. Age is a very, we can say, a very major factor into learning. We can say a small child can learn things slower, whereas adult is having a very developed brain. So they will learn things more easily or faster. Like to understand the concept, adult mind is far better than the a, a mind of a small baby. So a baby would be having some kind of a difficulty or would take time to learn things, whereas an adult will learn things easily. Next is the intelligence. Obviously, everyone has a different intelligent quotient. So let's suppose that I can learn certain things about the science easily, but my brother, who's graduated into engineer, he can learn certain things into his particular course. So we are having a different kind of intelligence. So I'm having more of the my focus into some science-based projects. He's having some his more focused on the engineering-based concepts. So we would be having a different kind of intelligence quotient. So according to that, we are going to learn things. So that can also affect, means I'm not having any idea or any of the knowledge regarding engineering, so it would be difficult for me to learn about those concepts. Next is the attention. As we already studied that learning is an active part. So if I'm not active, I'm not paying attention towards certain stimuli or particular things that are being taught, so I won't be having my I won't be having any of the learning through those concepts. Means attention is to be there, I need to focus on to certain things in order to learn those things. Next is the interest and motivation. Obviously, if I'm not having any interest or motivation to learn something, let's take an example that someone has to read some particular concept, or I have to read or have to complete this particular chapter by today, but I'm not interested into this chapter, I don't like this chapter, I'm not motivated to learn this chapter. So I won't be paying focus, or I won't be paying attention to that chapter, and ultimately I won't be learning anything. Next is the mental and physical health. If I'm not mentally healthy or physically healthy, obviously my body won't be ready to learn something or certain things, because I'm not mentally that much stable to learn some particular thing. Suppose I had a fight with my sibling, and now I'm not feeling well, or I'm irritated, I'm not paying attention towards particular things, so I'm not going to learn certain things. Next is fatigue and rest. Let's suppose I'm working throughout a day and I'm working 7 hours a day, and suddenly after those 7 hours, I'm totally fatigued and I need rest. But you will tell me that I have to study this particular topic tomorrow for the test. So I was working throughout the day. I'm not having that kind of energy now. So I won't be paying attention to those concepts, and ultimately, I won't be learning anything from that concept. So these were the factors that can affect the nature of the learner. So next, let's see what factors are there. Next is the nature of learning method. Not the learning method, but all things can affect my learning method. Let's start with definite goal. If I'm not having a definite goal, we already discussed that I'm not having a definite aim towards or to which a certain path on which I have to move. Obviously, I'm going to lose my focus. Let's say I'm not having any definite goal. I'm just moving. Like I'm just moving randomly throughout these parts, so obviously I'm going to lose the focus. So I need a definite goal to focus on to something. Next is the recitation. You must have seen into your earlier days of school, teacher used to command us like repeat after me, or say like environment, and then we used to say it very loudly like environment. So we say recitation also plays an important part into learning. If we recite things louder and on a repeated mode, we tend to learn them easily. Next is exercise and repetition. If we want exercise things, or if we want repeat things, obviously we are going to lose that memory, or we are not going to learn those things perfectly. Let's say I'm learning how to ride a bike, but I'm not practicing it. So within a year or a 2 year, I'm going to lose my focus, and I won't be that much confident in riding bike now because I haven't exercised it. Next is learning by part, means by parts learning. That let's say there is a big topic. So if I'll try to focus or give my attention to that whole topic, or I'm trying to just read that whole topic into one go, I won't be able to learn that topic. I need to divide that topic into certain parts. Only that by dividing that topic into parts, I'm going to learn that topic. Means if I'll try to focus onto the whole thing, obviously it is going to cause many of the chaos, or it's going to cause a mess into my brain. So I need to divide it into parts, and then I'm going to learn it. Next is the reward and punishment. If I would be having certain reward or punishment at the end of my goal, let's say if my mother has said that if you learn how to ride a bike, I'm going to get you one new bike. So that is kind of a reward for me, so I would be focusing on to that thing, and I want that by new bike. So I would be practicing how to ride a bike. So rewards and punishment also affect our learning. Next, say feedback. If a teacher or any the person who's educating you is not providing you feedback like, oh, you are doing great, or you are lacking somewhere on this point, obviously my learning is going to affect. So when the feedback is provided to the person, they tend to have that tendency of learning things beautifully or perfectly. So if feedback is not there, obviously someone is not telling them what they are lacking, or what they are doing perfectly, or what things they are doing wrongly. So they are not going to get to the things clear, means the things are not going to get clear into their mind, and the learning won't happen. Next is the timing. So in which timing I'm reading, like let's say I'm reading things late at a night and I'm feeling very much sleepy, so I won't be able to learn that thing. And let's say someone is having someone is waking up early in the morning and they are feeling very much fresh, so at that time they can learn the concept easily. So it depends on individual to individual which particular time suits to them to learn things more clearly or more perfectly. Next is the environment. Obviously, if my environment is not appropriate, no proper lighting is there, or no proper ventilation is there, so that is also going to affect my learning, because I won't be able to focus on to the things which I'm learning. So this was all about the factor which can affect the method of learning. So let's move towards the next factor. So next is the nature of learning material. Now things which I'm learning, if they are appropriate, that is, or not appropriate, that is also going to affect my learning. Let's say the meaningfulness of the concept. Let's say the thing which I'm learning is not meaningful to me. Like I'm a science student and now I'm trying to learn something about the civil engineer. Obviously those concepts won't fit into my mind because they are not meaningful to me. I'm not understanding what all these things are doing over there. So that would cause a hindrance to my learning. Next is the clarity. If I'm not having a clarity of particular thing, I don't know the basic of this particular subject, I certainly am moving towards the next topic. So I'm not going to focus on to those learning part, and I won't be having clarity that what actually I need to learn. So that is also going to affect my learning. Next is the language. Let's suppose I can only understand Hindi and English, and the thing which are or the concept which are present over there for learning are into French. So I won't be able to learn that because I don't know French and I don't know how to speak or read French. So language is also an important factor into learning. Next is the relevance. If things are not relevant to us, or if things are not relevant to, or the concept are not relevant to each other, I won't be able to learn these things. So that is the relevance can also affect your learning. Next is the pattern. Pattern always, when you're going to learn something, you're going to learn that into a pattern. Let's suppose I'm learning, today we are learning about the topic learning only. So first of all, if I have to start with the introduction, then the definition, and if I'm not following that pattern and directly I'm jumping onto the types of learning, so I won't be having that that basic knowledge about the meaning or the concept of learning, and I'm directly moving towards the types of learning, so I'm not following the pattern, so obviously that is also going to affect my learning. So this was all about the factor affecting learning, and this was all about the presentation. And now let's have some activity over here. So how much you have learned, let's see. So we are having one activity over here. I hope it would be fun for you to solve this activity. So identify this type of learning. What kind of a learning is there? We have studied different kind of learning. So just try to identify. A baby is just walking and he's using his muscles. So what kind of learning is this? So let's see. This is a motor learning. Motor learning, we have already studied. Motor learning is using your limbs or using your muscles to do certain things. So that is kind of a motor learning. Let's see next. So identify this type of learning. Baby is saying mama or dada. So what kind of learning is this? We have already studied this also. So when child imitate you, you command the child to say certain things. So let's see what kind of learning is this. This is a verbal learning where baby is now trying to imitate you to say certain things. So he's using his voice. So that is verbal learning. Identify this type of learning. We have discussed riding a bike into whole of this presentation. So what kind of learning is this? He's using his limbs again. He's using his muscles. So this is kind of his learning skill. So skill learning comes under motor learning. So this is also kind of a motor learning where he is using his this limbs to learn certain things. So motor learning or skill learning also included under motor learning. So this was all about my presentation. Now let's summarize the topic. So today we have learned about the introduction to learning, what learning actually is. Then we studied about the definition of learning, where we studied that main emphasis was on to our experience, that through our experiences we learn certain things. Next we studied about the nature of learning, that learning is universal, learning is continuous, learning is adaptation or adjustment to new situation. Then we studied about the process of learning, that how this learning happens in our life. Next, we studied about the types of learning, where we studied about formal, informal, individual learning, group learning, motor learning, verbal learning, all those types of learning. And lastly, we studied about the factor affecting learning, that what all factor can cause hindrance or can cause difficulties into the learning. So this was all about my presentation. I hope you have learned a lot. Thank you, everyone.